Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. This is the weekday edition. Today is December 16, 2020. What we're going to do is we're going to analyze the S&P 500 and also the major market indexes. In addition to that, we're going to take a look at the market sentiment and the market internal on an intraday basis. Then we're going to look at a few of those momentum stocks, two of which is the recent IPO, Palantir and Snowflake, which I have a previous video on. So I'm going to follow up on that analysis and then see where those stocks are. And then we're going to take a look at Testla and NIO. Let's start off with looking at the internal and also the sentiment. On this chart here, I have the S&P 500. This is a intraday chart with the 3-minute candles. So each candle represents 3-minute period. And here, right here is the new high, new low for the New York Stock Exchange. As you can see, today it had 181 more new high than new low. And down here is the up-down volume ratio. And also you can see that it was mostly negative throughout the day. Only a few periods is actually positive. And it closed the day at minus 1.15. So slightly a little bit more negative, more down volume than up volume. So all in all, it's a little bit negative bias, although the S&P 500 is up. And the VIX came down a bit. It's sitting at 22.5 at the close. So you can see early in the morning, it was up, actually up here at 23.61. And also in the early afternoon, it was up at 0.38, I mean. And so you can see that it did come down a little bit toward the close. And that's after the FOMC announcement came out. That's basically at 11 o'clock West Coast time and 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then followed up by Chairman Powell press conference. So you can see that, see here, initially it got a little bit of a sell-off after the announcement. Then it went back up, and during the news conference, the press conference, it just maintained its upward momentum. Then toward the close, kind of gave back a little bit. And today it is OPEX. So they're going to run it down to do some pinning there. So now let's follow up with the put-call ratio. The put-call ratio is sitting at 0.5. So it's in the neutral, not not very bullish or very bearish. And here's the daily advance decline. It finished with a little bit more decliners than advancers. It's got 157 more decliner than advancer here. So throughout the day, the decliner outnumbered the advancer. So it's all in all, it's a little bit of a negative divergence type of day, right? So got to be careful. Although the S&P 500 is up. So let's go and take a look at the S&P 500 and the other major market indexes, such as the NASDAQ 100, Dow Jones Industrial, the Dow Jones Transportation, and Russell 2000. Then we go and take a look at those stocks that I mentioned earlier. All right, let's take a look at the S&P 500 on this daily chart here. You can see that the S&P 500 closed up today. It did not make a new intraday high, neither did it close at a new high here, because the close is 3701.26. And if you take a look here on this this close here is 3702.25, so just a little bit higher than today. So, and also the intraday high here is 3712.39. So, and today the intraday high is 3711.27. So just a little bit over a point below the all-time high. Now, remember on the weekly video, we talked about a couple things, right? Two things. And one thing that told us that the S&P 500 is going to make a new high. And if you did not watch that video, I would suggest that you go back and watch that video. Those are very valuable information that I share with you. You won't find them in any kind of book, in the technical analysis, or find it from anywhere, from any of these subscription services. Not too many people understand these things. And I share those two very vital information to you, and you should go and watch that and find out what they are. if you haven't seen that video. So I'm not going to repeat it here. The S&P 500, I'm still expecting it to make a new all-time high, close at a new all-time high, because the close is what matters. It's not the intraday, because they could play a game with the intraday. So last week in the weekend video, we're talking about one of the upside scenario was for it to come up and continue to push toward this 3720.37. Again, this is a 127 Fibonacci extension, and go watch that video or the prior one. You can see where I get that value. So all in all, basically is playing out to that upside scenario that we map out on the weekend. Right now, basically just kind of follow through to see would it be able to get up and get above this 3720 and move toward the 3800. And that's basically the scenario that we're watching for the upside. And here's the NASDAQ 100. The NASDAQ 100 is also, we're basically looking for this thing to continue to push up on the upside. It's toward the 13,000 area up here. So basically also we're looking for this the extension for this here. You know, this range is basically up here. Okay, so we're essentially looking for these level. First thing is to come up to this 13,000, and if this market continue to move up, then eventually these level will be in play. And here's the Dow Jones Industrial. Again, we're basically looking for the Dow Jones Industrial to make a new high. That is also the other piece of information that I shared with you in my weekend video. So if you want to find out why do I make that statement about, you know, the Dow Jones Industrial, the expectation is for it to make a new closing high. So right now it is still underneath this closing high. So we're still waiting for the Dow Jones Industrial to come up and close at a new high. But right now we're essentially looking at this flag, right? We're basically playing with this bull flag here. And the downside scenario was a pullback to this flag down here at this bottom of what's going to just come down to test this pivot high here, this 29,199. So right now we're essentially just monitoring for this thing to continue to push up and looking for it to push into the 31,000, right? Into this 31,000 level. If it break out of this flag here, then these major move will be in play once it get above that 31,000. And here's the Dow Jones Transportation. The Dow Jones Transportation, the downside scenario that we put forth on the weekend video was for this thing to pull back and possibly test this level at 12,379. And if it doesn't hold this support level here, then we would expect it to come down to test this 12,096. And that would, depending on when it comes down here, could be in confluence with the lower trend line, you know, lower channel trend line here, and possibly fill this gap here. So right now we're looking at the transportation pullback. Got a little bounce here, although it booked to this on the intraday yesterday, but it closed above this 12,379. So we want to see if it could continue to bounce up and make toward the 13,000 level. And here looking at the Russell 2000, we are seeing that the Russell 2000 still within this channel here, and we are essentially looking for the Russell 2000 to continue to push up and get up to this 2000 level. So that is the index. Let's go and take a look at those stocks. Okay, the first one that we're going to start off with is Palantir. As you can see, it came public here and made it low of $8.90. Then it ran up to a high of 33.50 cents and then pulled back. In the last video, when we talk about this stock here, we basically was talking about this 50% level here, this Fibonacci retracement. The 50% retracement, actually 50% is not part of the Fibonacci ratio. But, you know, the 50% retracement, it came down and it got a nice bounce, moved back up above this 32.8 level at the $24.10. That's the Fibonacci extension 38.2. Okay, so it moved back above it right now. It's still staying above it. So the thing is, we want to make sure that it can stay above this, or at least be able to hold this 24.27 potential support here, right? Then continue to make a higher high. And if we could take out this high here, right, then we're basically looking at this high back in play, right? But if price come back down and back into the zone here, then this breakout over here out of this retracement zone is no longer count. Then what I'd be looking for is to come back down and possibly even get down to this 618 at $18.30, and let's see what we get a bounce here to come back up and try to tag this declining trend line here, descending trend line. So kind of keep an eye on this. The key level to watch is would it be able to hold above this 24.27 area or 24.10? Right? If it come down and bounce around at this 50% area again, then have to be very cautious about this level here. Would it be able to get a bounce back up? Because eventually I'm looking for this thing to come back down to the 618, which would be $18.30 if the price come back into this retracement zone. Okay, so that's basically what I'm watching. And if we drill down to the 60-minute chart and get a closer look here, we could see that you know, it holding up on this trend line here until the, you know, yesterday or so, and then kind of broke down. And you see today is kind of staying down here. So again, this trend line breaking down as long as it's hold above this 24.27 area, and that'd be okay. But if it come back in, then that could be a problem. Now let's take a look at Snowflake. Snowflake, I also do a Fibonacci retracement from this point here up to the high, and you can see that we basically was looking for the retracement down to the 50% level and see would it get a bounce, and also be a little bit more of in confluence with this trend line, right? But you can see yesterday it actually broke below it and came just you know, a tad below this 618 extension. I mean, a 618 retracement below $306. Matter of fact, I think it was 303. That was the low. Yeah, it was 303.54 cents. So you can see, but it did come back up and close inside of this above this this trend line. And today it came down and tested this trend line again, and actually you know, been hovering in this 50% retracement. So right now we basically want to see would it be able to get back up above this 38.2 retracement level at the 353. Remember my previous video, I talked about this stock. These are the three levels to keep an eye on: 353, 343, and 329. Right? So right now it broke that 329 yesterday and came down to this 618. So if it could not get back above this 353, then that would be trouble, because then I'd be looking for this thing to get below this 618 at below 306, possibly work itself back down to this 272 area for potential support here. All right, so if we take a closer look with the 60-minute chart, and you can see on the 60-minute chart here, it is, see this right here, got a nice hammer candle. As soon as it came down, got a nice bounce back up to this trend line, and it is holding above this trend line here and try to trend back up. So if it could, you know, trend back up and get above this, you know, this level, then we could be looking at higher prices and maybe work back up to the 377 level. But if it move back down and break the trend line again, then keep an eye on this 306. If it cannot hold this 306, then I'll be looking at 272. Now let's go and take a look at NEO. Okay, on NEO, you can see that NEO came down 2 days ago. That was due to the secondary offering, announcing the price of that was $39. So actually got sold off and getting a little bit of a nice bounce here. Let me take out some of these lines so it doesn't look so cluttered. And got a nice bounce and bounce back up to this 43.95 area. So let's drill down to the 16-minute chart here. On the 16-minute chart, you can see that it came up to this, came down here, got a nice bounce at this 38.43 area. So essentially, it came down below that 39 offering price, right? The low was 38.74. Then you can see it just got, bid up and bought it back up. So today, it actually came back above this 43.95. So right now, I'm basically keeping an eye on this 45.87, this potential resistance level here to see would it be able to get to. If it doesn't, then I'm essentially looking for this thing to come back down and retest this 38 level here, essentially testing these low. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. But if it could get above this 45.87, then we could see this price could come back up to this resistance area, right? So so you got the lot of point got tested here on this level here at 48.31, right? So it broke to this resistance area and then turned support, and then it broke down and then turned back to resistance once again, right? So we got to keep an eye on this to see what this thing be able to move to once it get back up at the 48. So these are the two prices that I be keeping an eye on, these level, and then the key level is down here at the 38, below that 39 secondary offering price. Okay, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is going to be added to the S&P 500 after this Friday's close. So on Monday, the S&P 500 will include Tesla. Okay, and also the other thing is this Friday is quant witching Friday. So you got the option expiration, the future, and everything. All right, so we might see a little volatility, and also in addition to that, a lot of the fund have to balance their portfolio. So you're going to see some volatility and funny price movement on Tesla. So be careful. All right, so we'll see basically Tesla, it's been trying to get back above this high here at 654. Right, it got a little bit of a lower high here, and we really want to see Tesla to get back above this high, which is 645.90, 646.90. So we want to see it at least get up to 647, right, to make a higher high. Otherwise, keep an eye on this. A lot of people basically are looking for the inclusion or adding to the S&P 500. They're going to be pushed up to somewhere around $700 level. It might, but also it could be, sold off once it get added in there. So be careful. That's why it's key to see will Tesla be able to get a higher high here and get above this 647. If it's not, then we're basically looking for this thing to possibly make a lower low, and that would go below this low, which is 566.34. Okay. So I got a support level at 563. Now let's go and drill down on the 60-minute and get a closer look. Here's the 60-minute chart of Tesla. So you can see that this trying to get back above this high here, right? Today is struggling to try to get up to this 625.94, this 626 area. So keep an eye on this to see what it be able to hold this 598. And push back above the 625, 626 area, because we really like to see Tesla to move back up there. Otherwise, it could be working itself down, back down to this 563 and all these lower potential support level. All right, so because you also got a little bit of a trend line going through here and got a little bit of a triangle. So you want to make sure that we could see Tesla take out this high here, right? And hold this low, okay? Hold this 598, this area here. All right, so that is today's update on the S&P 500 and the indexes, and also the Palantir Snowflake, Neo, and Testla. Be sure to smash the thumbs up for me to help me promote and share this video on YouTube. And if you have any comment or suggestion on the format, or if you have any stock that you'd like me to take a look at and include in some of my future video, post them in the comment section below, and I will see how I could work it in future video. So thank you for watching and stay safe.